Hey everybody, Adam Davidson, RadCast for Monday, February 6, 2023. Happy Monday, happy new week. Here's Matthew chapter 9, verse 27 and following. As Jesus went on from there, two blind men followed him, calling out, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." When they had gone indoors, the blind men came to him, and he asked them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" "Yes, Lord," they replied. Then he touched their eyes and said, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." And their sight was restored. And that's the word of the Lord. Hey, that rhymes. We've been talking about healing the last few days. It says in Psalm 103, don't forget the benefits of God, that he heals all your diseases. And we've talked about the healing of God and how sometimes it goes the way we want and sometimes it doesn't go the way we want. And sometimes there are many questions that are raised. And sometimes God will do a healing, but then it raises other issues. It's a very complicated thing, and it makes more sense if we remember that there is an eternity beyond this life on this earth, that we are designed to live forever, and that the thing that we're in right now, this era of life that you and I are in today, is temporary. It's not permanent. It is temporary. I was thinking about something that happened to me when I was 4 years old. I don't know what brought this to my mind, but let me tell you a quick story. In the backyard there at the house on Crowder Street, I had a fort that my dad built for me. It was tons of fun. My friend Brian and I were in the backyard playing, messing around, having a grand old time as 4-year-olds tend to do. And at one point, I fell off part of my fort and onto the ground. And when I fell, I hit in just the right way so that the back of my head split open. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And all I knew was that I fell and it hurt and I needed to go find my mom. So I go walking toward the back door of my house. As I'm walking away, my friend Brian looks at the back of my head where I had just landed and he went, "Blood." So I knew it wasn't good. I go into the house. I'm crying. My mom says, "Adam, what's wrong?" I just turn around without saying a word and she goes, "Oh my heavens," like that. She freaked out. Mom panicked. I was her firstborn. I was her only kid. And this was the first big injury that I had ever reported there at home. So she gets a wet washcloth because wet washcloths fix everything. She starts dabbing away. She calls my grandma Davidson, and grandma says, "You're going to have to take him in. Why don't you meet me at the emergency room at the hospital?" So we go to the hospital. We get there, and my mom has been panicking the whole time. I see my grandma Davidson, and she goes, "Adam Schmadam," which is what she called me. She said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know, Grandma, if I'm okay or not." And she pointed to a vending machine that sat there in the lobby of the emergency room at the hospital. And she said, "Now, Adam," she said, "if you can be very good, I will get you anything you want from that vending machine when we're done. Anything you want." And I pointed to the Reese's Pieces. Oh, they were brand new back in 1984, and they were so delicious. Today, I see them as imitation M&Ms, but then they were a source of great comfort and joy. And Grandma Davidson came through on her word, and she got me those Reese's Pieces. To this day, when I see those, I think about the stitches that I ended up with in the back of my head. Now, looking back, there are two things I remember. Mom was panicked. Grandma Davidson wasn't. Why? Well, she was older. She had seen it all. This wasn't her first rodeo. What was I drawn to as a 4-year-old? The panic of my mom or the calm of my grandma? Of course, I was drawn to the calm of my grandma. Now, back to the story in Matthew. These two blind men have come to Jesus and they follow him. Did you notice that they keep following him, like they're calling out to him when they're outside? Jesus goes into a building. They follow him into the building. They continue to cry out. They don't give up. And then this interchange happens. Jesus says, "Do you believe that I'm able to do this?" They said, "Well, yeah, we followed you this far, of course." Then he touched their eyes and said, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." And their sight was restored. I want to tell you something. This is extraordinarily important when it comes to healing. The healing of Jesus begins with the presence of Jesus. Let me say it again. The healing of Jesus begins with the presence of Jesus. How can we say that we believe Jesus will heal us if we're not even aware of his presence? So today, dear friend, the healing that God wants to do in your life and through you in others has to begin with the practice of his presence. My grandma Davidson had this strange calming. She was annoyingly calm, right? She had this calming presence that just had this effect on me. And I remember that so well, that and the Reese's Pieces. Now you go and be the annoyingly calm presence of Jesus because you yourself have spent time with him, just as I hope you do even today. even right now. Begin the healing process by practicing the presence and even chasing after God. That's what it's all about. That's RadCast.